Hey, welcome. My name is Daniel, and this is Metal Sharpens Metal, the place where we analyze heavy music from a Christian worldview. Today we're looking at the song Vahle by the band Volumes. They are a metal band out of Los Angeles, and this was a single that they put out a while back. It has a pretty emotional meaning, and since then, so much has happened to the band. There's been a lot of drama and other things we're not going to necessarily get into, and it's not related to the emotions in this song. But yeah, I hope you like it. Let's go check it out. Got some good colors on here, but if you can see the picture, it's not great. Gosh, really thick mix. And you can still hear the lead synth line thing. Yep. Gosh, the lead guitar sounds like it's crying. And the rhythm guitar is just, it's got that perfect cutting tone. Gosh. It's like an explosion at the beginning of that chorus. Gosh, lots of feels in this song, and it's not a happy subject, but they really pull those heartstrings well. Got the voicemail from James. Like a lot of tension in that chug chord. It's not just like an open string. It's like, I don't know, there's a term for it, but it makes you feel unresolved. Here's why they were leading gent at the time. I love that production. A little video game sounds. The sad piano lead line coming back. The orchestra. These little splashes. This is a great pre-chorus too. Really sets you up, and then big climax into the chorus. They pull up all the pads in the background. Drummer is super in the pocket, smooth, groovy, very complimentary for the songs. Got that kind of R&B hip hop sample feel with the staring at the floor that they repeat out there. Pretty heavy song overall. You could probably tell what was going on there. Their friend James Vahle, from what I understand, he was driving drunk and crashed his car and died. And yeah, it was a song that I know his parents appreciated. The original version had his mother's comment on it. She had said, "Hey, I know James would have loved this. Thank you guys so much for this tribute." And for some reason, it was like a pre-production demo. That one, I think it was on their official YouTube or something, but that one was taken down. Had lyrics and everything, but they took it down. Actually, I probably know the reason. It's because then they released it on their album following this single, and so they wanted the album version up instead of the pre-prod demo. Now, a lot of people thought that the pre-prod demo sounded a lot better than the album version. Just the mix was overall better.
I like it a lot.
Everyone loved it. The mother had commented on that video. It was a bummer that it was taken down. But yeah, it's a great song. It's well written. Like, it's got awesome production, good lyrics overall. Volumes is a cool band. I mentioned that they were kind of leading gent at the time. I think, they made a lot of enemies and they made a lot of waves, and that led to them being maybe not as popular as they could have been. But overall, the way that they wrote was like cutting edge gent. I first found their EP, I think. I don't know if it was the very first thing that they put out, but it was one of the first. It had like a Titan looking thing with like a bright eye shape. I'll probably put a picture over it so I don't have to describe it like a loon. But they were slower than a lot of metal of the day. A lot of metal was like fast, like double bass and double time. They were like, no, we're just gonna do like really groovy, slow and chuggy stuff. Yeah, and I loved the album that came out after that called Via. It had just a lot of stuff going on, and I tried to learn a few of those songs on drums because, like I said, it was slower, so you had to focus on your technique and your chops rather than just like really fast and like you could kind of cover up mistakes. So you had to play with intentionality and really get that timing down when they were doing the syncopation.
Tight, yeah!
It was very helpful for me to learn how to drum to some of that stuff. They had two vocalists on this song. They had Michael Barr and Gus Farias. They make it work. They do their stuff live so that they can like take breaks and let each other go. They can harmonize with each other and like things like that. And I mentioned that there was drama in the band. So through a big series of events we don't have to get into, they ended up losing Michael, getting another guy named Mike. And then Michael came back. Gus got kicked out. His brother Diego was the main guitarist. He left and shortly after died of an overdose or something like that. Very sad. And so now the vocalists are Michael and Mike. They are great together. It sounds awesome. I don't endorse everything that they write. They write about mature subjects and they use mature language and things like that.
You knew about this all along, didn't you?
So after that album Via I mentioned, I kind of fell off the train because when their next album called No Sleep came out, I was like, well, there's some cool songs on here, but man, they're like really leaning into some of the sexy time lyrics and some of the just like unnecessary swearing and kind of cheesy bravado that comes with some of the hip hop culture. So bangers aside, I kind of fell off the train, and especially their album Different Animals. That's when they really started to get like, oh boy, you're really going to subject me to listening to songs about package sizes, and I'm not talking UPS. Very cringe, very cringe.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about this now.
But I digress, because between Via and No Sleep, they put out this sweet little gem of a single, and I thought it was a great song, and it's well written, so let's go check it out. It opens up with kind of like a big view. Before zooming in, it says, I can't define the single instant. I'm assuming that this is probably the moment that they were told that James had died. It's a graphic moment. So then it gets maybe a little bit more personal here. I can't do this without you, and I never doubt you. Are these just like general kind of friendship terms of how he felt about James? But I feel like you don't feel the same way. Again, not exactly sure what he means by that. But he, is very clear. This is about gone but never forgotten, James Vahle. And again, we get kind of back to this question inside their minds of, an inquisition of who I would become, who I see in myself. So now he's just kind of thinking of like the future and his personality, his identity. Yeah, we're going to touch on this afterlife part a little bit later, but these are loved ones. You're starting to think about the afterlife. You're caught up in that moment you don't want to dream about. You don't want those dreams, but they come anyway sometimes. And then you have this section that's really dense, a lot going on here. So when you want something more, and she said I was stuck, and I should have pulled you out of that truck. I'm sorry, it's my summer. So I had to do a little digging to try to figure out what all this meant. Something more, not exactly sure, but when it says she said I was stuck, I'm wondering if this was like a girlfriend of James's who said, hey, like I'm stuck on the side of the road. Maybe her car broke down, something like that. But whoever is the first person writer, maybe it's Michael, says, I should have pulled you out of that truck. Like I should have stopped you from going. You weren't in any condition to go. Again, if he was drunk, which seems to have been corroborated by a couple people. I know it's an obvious thing to say, but just don't drive drunk. Like there is never a good enough reason to do it. You can stay where you are. You can take a cab, you can call a friend. People would much rather have you be kind of embarrassed and have to put them out for a while compared to losing you, compared to you dying and potentially killing others and hurting others too, right? So yeah, never worth it. And then I'm sorry, it's my summer. That line was a bit cryptic. It sounded like James died right at the beginning of like a summer or something, and Volumes was just about to go on one of their breakthrough tours. Like they were just becoming a bigger band. He died, and then his funeral they actually had to miss because they were getting ready to go on this tour as a band. So I wonder if there's a sense of survivor's guilt or guilt of not being able to go there and see him off, metaphorically at his funeral. So yeah, it's interesting that they would throw this line in there because a lot of people wouldn't want to admit that they chose their career over going to a friend's funeral. Now, I don't know if that's true. It does seem weird to call out the summer. I mean, again, maybe if James died right at the beginning of the summer, it's my summer, meaning I'm the one that's living on through this summer. You passed away before you could experience this summer. And then we have the chorus, very simple in terms of word choice, but really powerful. Powerful, like sonically, like I said, at that first chorus, there's like a explosion sample or something that really punches home like the emphasis of it all. So they've been saying, why'd you have to go? Why'd you have to go? I've been waiting, staring at the floor, staring at the phone. I also noticed that it's kind of set up as like a call and response. We've been saying is one call, and then the response is the questions. And then I've been waiting is the other call. And then staring at the floor, staring at the phone is the things he's been doing. So call and response is a really cool method of singing that really emphasizes the kind of like internal dialogue and conversation going on in your head. And I think it just adds to the meaning, adds to the internal struggle, internal battle that you're having with yourself. Then the bridge, which, the chuggy guitar, at the end they got the little, it sounds really cool sonically. The lyrics, obviously, they're crying out. They're asking, why is this happening? So, using a swear word, I'm not surprised. Like you're going to have a lot of emotions.
It feels like somebody took my heart and dropped it into a bucket of boiling tears.
I totally get choosing a lyric like that. And especially in this particular line, you feel like you could have changed the outcome if he had just chosen to leave it in the driveway. If he had just left his car, not gone to pick up this she or whoever, or whatever reason he had to go drive in his car. They even keep beating themselves up. I would have picked you up. I would have been there. You didn't have to do this. Like there were other options. And then every time I turn the corner, all I'm going to think about is the implication being his death, of course. And turning the corner, I'm sure the car, went off the road like that, and it's still a road that they have to drive by. And so they know exactly where this happened, which is just an awful reminder as you just go about your life. So yeah, it's super tragic. Just a sad song. You never want to lose somebody this young, and even though it sounds like James was not entirely without fault if he was drinking. So, that might make more sense mentally, but it still would be so frustrating to know that if one detail was changed, if this girlfriend didn't call him and ask for help, or if he just chose to not drive that car out of the driveway, then he would probably still be here today. And like I said, we should be mindful of the inherent risks of driving drunk and the stupidity that is, and the risk that puts everyone else around us in too. But I think as a Christian, the deeper meaning here is that we are not guaranteed another day. We have no idea when our final day will be.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days. before you've actually left them.
There's another guy I listen to that says it's very important to make up with loved ones, make sure that you've resolved any fights, be at peace with all men as much as possible, because our lives do go quickly like this. James 4:14 says, "You are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes." So we're not guaranteed another day. We need to be made right with our Lord. Today is the day of salvation, as Hebrews says. We are not to ignore what God has said. We are not to think that we'll have time to repent or time to figure all that out later, think about the God stuff later. Because they mentioned in that pre-chorus the afterlife and how all of this made them think about the afterlife. There are many viewpoints on all that, right? We distract ourselves with many nice thoughts about what it might look like, but we need to really go to the author of the afterlife and be made right with him, and go to his son who took on a human experience to pay the price for sinners and allow them to have an afterlife that is meaningful and that is spent with their creator as well. So Jesus is the only one that can give us safe passage beyond our current life right now, our current experiences. So if you don't know him, that's why I made this channel. I wanted to talk about him. I wanted to make him known and famous, as well as analyze these songs in light of how a Christian who is saved by Jesus thinks. So yeah, if you have questions about this, feel free to put a comment here, or you can email me at metal7, the number 7. Don't spell it out. That would not be right. The number 7 at proton.me. So yeah, I'll try to be of service. I want to make this a little bit more of a communicative type platform. I know that there's no really great place to reach me other than the YouTube comments, which totally can feel free to do that. But yeah, if you want to email me instead, feel free, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye.